He was the CEO and Managing Director of Max Healthcare, whereas he's been responsible for delivering almost 35% CAGR on earnings growth for many years before we decided to recalibrate the business because of our unfortunate incident in Shalimar Bagh Hospital. But there again, I think in his able leadership, within the 12 months, he could pull back the Max Healthcare earnings to the level better than what it was before we started the recalibration phase. Before his journey with Max Healthcare, he was the Chief Operating Officer of Max Life. So welcome, Mr. Rajat Mehta. He's joined by his colleague, Mr. Ajay Agarwal. Mr. Ajay Agarwal is the Chief Financial Officer of Antara. He's been with us for about 2 years. He comes from real estate industry. So, one of the verticals of Antara, which is senior residences vertical, he has a significant experience in. He's been instrumental in charting out the growth journey of Antara with two new verticals, which I'll speak about, which is the care homes vertical as well as care at home vertical. Myself, I'm a CFO at the group level. I've been a face of Max Group to investors for almost now 15 years. And most of you may have heard me before or met me before or spoken with me before. So on that note, we'll get to the presentation. So, Mr. Mehta, so before I start the presentation, I'll just say that this presentation is encapsulation of what you might have seen in the information memorandum of Antara, but we've just tried to summarize all the information and so that it can be put in a crisp manner, as well as it can give you a good flavor of how Antara is being shaped up under Max India, as well as it can give you a good flavor of how the Max Group has been over the years in terms of the history. So Max Group's vision is to be the most admired corporate for service excellence. We are our value system is driven by three pillars, which is Seva Bhav, excellence, and credibility. We have a strong culture for service, strong culture of entrepreneurship, very razor sharp focus on financial and business performance, a very high regard for corporate governance and transparency with investors. So please move forward. So we have three listed verticals. The first one is Max Financial Services, which you may be familiar with, which runs a life insurance business. The second one is Max India, which is really our senior living and the skilling businesses, which is what the discussion for today's presentation is centered around Max India. And the third vertical is Max Ventures, which has real estate and some manufacturing and some other businesses. So under Max India, we have two verticals. One is like I said, senior care vertical, and the other is the skill first vertical, which the skilling business. The skilling business is new, and we haven't yet crafted our long-term strategy of that business. So we will focus today's discussion more on Antara, wherein we are very clear in terms of the long-term strategy for Antara and the growth verticals for Antara. So the first vertical under the senior care business is a senior care vertical is the first business is the residencies for seniors business. We have our first residency in Dehradun, which came up about a year and a half ago. The second residency, as we speak, is being set up in Noida. And as we move forward, we'll hope to set up some more. The second business under Antara is the assisted care vertical. Under the assisted care vertical, we have two businesses. One is the care homes business, and the other is care at home business. Now, by care homes business, what we mean is that essentially senior citizens who need either life assistance or some support for their daily activities, and they don't want to move to our residences, can move to our care homes for long stay as well as short stay. And as they
uh, as they, I mean, and some of the seniors who may not want to sort of move to our care homes and prefer to be delivered the same care at their homes can be taken care of through our care at home vertical. So broadly, these are the three verticals under Antara, and we'll talk more about these in details. So please move forward. Max Group has, created significant value for its shareholders over the history of last 30 years when we've been listed through our entrepreneurial spirit. We built about 18, 19 businesses and divested those businesses from time to time. And, some of them, which we are currently also running, you may be aware of. For example, historically, our telecom business, which we divested, which is the company known as Vodafone Idea today. Then our life insurance business, which is doing extremely well. The health insurance business we divested to Max Bupa, or the hospital business which has just listed as a merged entity with Radiant. So we have built several businesses and exited several businesses and redeployed that capital in some new growth areas. So we've been able to identify some mega trends early on, and therefore build value for our shareholders through investing into those mega trends. So please move forward. And we have done this in collaboration with some marquee strategic and financial investors. Our past joint venture partners, you can see on the left side of the chart, and our current, and our financial partners from the past or currently, you can see on the right side of the chart. So please move forward. Now, through this journey, we have delivered over 4% returns for our shareholders ever since we did our IPO, and that journey we hope to continue even in the near term, as we, I think, cement our joint venture partnership with the Axis Bank on the life insurance side, as well as we hope that we could continue with this journey of significant value creation for our shareholders as we chart out new growth trajectory for Antara. So please move forward. On the leadership and the board, I'll skip for now. I think I'll let Mr. Mehta talk about as he speaks more about Antara. So I think this is a critical piece now. Max India today has about 400 crore investment in Antara. And this is, just mind you, has been this 400 crore investment is after an impairment of 150 crore, which we took in our Dehradun project, which really is not impairment, at least in our eyes, but it's more accounting impairment. And why I say so is because the whole investment in Dehradun project over the last 5-6 years is really the reason why we have been able, how we've been able to craft out an investment light strategy for Antara 2.0 when it comes to its residences, as well as create two new growth opportunities for Antara in terms of care homes and care at home. So really, we see this 150 crore impairment out of the 400 as an investment. So really reversing for that, it would have been actually it's a 500 crore investment in Antara. Additionally, we have about 500 crore liquid assets and other assets. So net about 900 crore invested capital in Max India. And if you reverse the impairment, about 1,050 crore. Please move forward. So on that note, I'll hand it over to Mr. Rajit Mehta, for presentation on Antara.
Thank you, Jatin, and good morning to all of you, and thank you for taking the time to be with us today. As Jatin said, one of the penchants Max Group has had is of spotting trends early. We spotted life insurance way back in 2000, healthcare in 2002, health insurance 2004.
Sorry, sir, sorry to interrupt you. Sorry, if I may request you, investors who would like to ask questions, please post those questions in the chat window, and I'll be moderating the session, and we'll be more than happy to answer all the questions. Sorry, sir. Sorry, please go ahead.
So we spotted the senior, care megatrend as well. It's played out outside India and now playing out in India in various shapes and formats across geographies. It is an estimated 10 to 12 billion dollar, value pool, and this is an estimation we had done some time back with the help of McKinsey, with large value pools around, healthcare at home, assisted living, residencies, as well as a bunch of products and services that seniors consume. If you were to look at the demand side, 125 odd million seniors today in India will grow to about 175, 180 in the next 6 to 7 years. 40% have issues of, vision, 40% have diabetes, 17% have dementia. which is also a very underreported figure. And on the supply side, very fragmented, not many big brands. Most of them are real estate background, but 70 to 80 assisted living or care home also exist. So there is a huge gap in terms of demand and supply as well. At Antara, we are quite uniquely placed because to be able to create an integrated ecosystem for seniors, we need competencies of healthcare, hospitality, insurance, and real estate. And given our lineage and given our background, we are able to stitch that together and bring it together under one umbrella. And that's why we are unique. We're targeting about 4 million of the elderly population. That's the mass affluent, about 15 lakhs and plus household income. And we just want to aim for 1 to 2% penetration. That's 40,000 to 80,000 customers. If that we are able to do in the next 5 to 6 years, our business model will look quite robust. We had started our first community in Dehradun. We handed over possession in 2017. And I will talk more about the facility as we go. Had lots of learnings in terms of model, both in terms of sales model, lease versus sale, in terms of cost, both capex and maintenance, in terms of location. Therefore, the second community we launched in Noida bakes all those learnings, and Noida is a more condominium style, 550 apartments. Dehradun was more resort style, 200 apartments. So different shades at different price points. But Noida is, we just launched the sample apartment, 2 months back.
Yes, sir.
More important,
80 rupees खुला.
वो बोल रहे हैं कि चेंज होता रहेगा वो अपने आप फिर खुलेगा.
Jatin, you're not on mute.
अरे पर वो लोग के बेस प्राइस ही होंगी है.
नहीं 10 रुपए हैं हमारे.
Yeah, sorry for that. More importantly, what we are doing is actually pivoting towards what is called the assisted care services strategy, which is going to lead our future growth. This comprises, 3 or 4 verticals, which is care homes. Now, if you are, independent and a senior and want to live, in a community, you can opt for residences. Care homes are more meant for people who need assistance on a daily basis. They have age-related issues and need help on, bathing, medication, vital monitoring, mobility, feeding, etc. These are rented accommodations. They are more popularly called assisted living outside India. And if you unfortunately have, a mental disorder, Alzheimer's, dementia, Parkinson's, then you can opt for our memory care homes. If you don't want to shift to these facilities, we can also offer the same services at home, starting from critical care to diagnostics to physiotherapy. So in a combination, we are able to, provide you all services that you need. And in case you require specific products for mobility, respiratory aids, special beds, we will stitch that up together, with a bunch of partnership and alliances. We do believe that given the format, it is asset light. These are rented, places that we are taking. We'll be able to replicate and scale this business pretty fast across, 3 clusters in India. Even the residences part, having learned our lessons from Dehradun, we are looking at building an asset light model where we want to focus on our core competencies of design, of sales and marketing and running the community, and therefore are looking for partners who will bring capital both for the land and construction. And we are very open to building these as standalone basis or as part of intergenerational communities in the next 5 to 6 years. If we are able to execute our strategy, we believe that will create significant value for stakeholders. Very difficult for us to comment at this stage, the quantum. All I can offer you is surrogates. If you look at outside India, and these are published figures, the assisted living, the companies demand a multiple of 20 times of EBITDA. There have been some deals in India on the care at home side, which are, 7 to 8 times of top line, but these are all surrogates. Let's see how we are able to execute, and build our business as we go forward. These are the value pools I spoke about. So if you look at on the right-hand side, the size of the bubble indicates size of the pool, home healthcare being the biggest one. Then you have assisted living, community living, online financial services. So a bunch of, services and products that seniors consume. Basis that, we have charted out our strategy of becoming the most loved and trusted brand for seniors and their families. So if you see this chart, the colors in burgundy indicate what we are focused on currently, and the colors in gray indicate what we will bring in the future and through partnership and alliances. As I said earlier, if you are, hale and hearty but want to live in a community and get care, comfort, and companionship, you can opt for residences for seniors. You can opt for a resort style in the Dehradun or opt for near urban development like Noida. However, if you need assistance on a daily basis or you have gone through an intense medical episode, could be a stroke, could be a transplant, you require rehabilitation, you can opt for our care homes. And if you have mental disorders, you can opt for memory care homes. And we are able to then provide the same services at home through Care at Home for seniors. And if you need any products from wheelchair to walking sticks to diapers, we will provide that to you as well. So in one sense, we are creating an integrated platform for seniors. This is quite unique in India. People are playing different parts of this value chain, but not creating the entire, system, in entirety. I would like to draw your attention to the left side on the blurb in yellow. This is going to be an asset-light model, both the care homes and residences for seniors. We take rented accommodation, spend some capex on retrofitting. Even for the residences, we're looking for strategic partners for land and construction. We want to really penetrate very deep into hyperlocal communities. So wherever we set up our care homes, we want to provide the same services in a radius of 15 kilometers. And therefore, have a much, much deeper share of the customer's wallet. Leverage technology to the hilt in terms of patient safety, remote monitoring, productivity and efficiency, and be driven by a bunch of partnerships. This is a visual representation of what I was saying. On the left hand, if you see, that's the first, there's the image of the first care home we have set up in Gurgaon. These are typically 30 rooms, 37 beds. So, you can choose between single room, double room, suite, depending on your convenience and medical condition. As I said, these are for people who have gone through a medical episode or need assistance on a daily basis, or there could be patients who come from outside the city or outside the country and need to stay 6 to 8 weeks after surgery. These homes provide a very sanitized infection control environment with full backup of nurses, helpers, doctors on call, physiotherapists on call, diagnostics on call, including nutritionally assisted meals to take care of your allergies and your nutrition needs under the supervision of your physician. Right? And these are located in high density residential areas. They look like your home. The memory care homes are a version of this. They will be a little away from the residential communities for obvious reasons. We'll have a different kind of infrastructure for patient safety and skilled nursing and counselors. If you come to the right-hand side now, as I said, we can offer the same services, at home. We can offer you critical care. If you require ongoing critical care, it's very expensive to stay in a hospital. It varies between 30,000 to a lakh a day, depending on your condition. We do have the capability of coming and setting it up in your house itself. Sanitize your room, set up the bed and monitors, and provide you skilled nursing. We also have a tie-up with a very, very senior clinician who runs a 24/7 remote ICU monitoring center, backed up by doctors and nurses, and handles escalations for us. We can provide X-rays at home, physiotherapy at home, diagnostics at home, and in going forward, maybe other services like dialysis and opthal at home. And then you have products and services I mentioned, which are patient aids, basically. The important thing is that we are putting this together, as an integrated ecosystem. So we will not do a care at home service where we don't have a care home, for example, right? And this allows us to leverage the same infrastructure, leverage the same customer acquisition, therefore the costs come down, and leverage the staff as well. We focus on holistic wellness. So all our facilities, have wheelchair access. They have anti-skid tiles, grab bars for seniors, emergency buttons, nursing call buttons, daily vital monitoring, tie-ups with hospitals for emergencies. We do, engagement activities on a calendarized basis to keep the seniors cognitively and physically stimulated and take care of the environment as well. These are images of the first care home that we put up in Gurgaon. These are common areas, of dining and engagement, just to give you a flavor of what the home looks like. Care at home are based on very important principles of convenience. So it is at your doorstep at the time that you think is convenient to you. All our clinical processes have been signed off by world-class and highly experienced clinicians. And we provide a bunch of services, as I said earlier. And we will stitch together a partnership alliances to provide products. These could be oximeters, oxygen concentrators, commode chairs, beds, wheelchairs, walking sticks, diapers, whatever seniors need for their assistance. On residences for seniors, this is a report published by CII in 2018, where the need in India is about 200,000 units. Only 2,500 units exist, so large need on this front as well. Our first facility in Dehradun, quite pristine, 14 acres overlooking Shivalik Mountains, about 200 apartments, 5,000 square feet of medical services space with a doctor, nurse, end of life care suites as well, physiotherapy on demand, and 60,000 square feet of club space with wellness areas, cuisine areas, all weather swimming pool, theater, and spaces for hobby classes and activities for seniors. We have already sold about 66% of the inventory and also earn a very small annuity income from the common area maintenance that we charge and what we offer as cuisine and wellness services to seniors and some people who are club members from outside the community. Very important learnings from Dehradun. Dehradun, we bought the land, we built it ourselves, we sold and we operated ourselves. It's a non-urban location. It's a lease model. It's a 60-year lease. Given the kind of development, quite high on capex and maintenance. And we sold through direct channels and resident referrals. Noida is a different format. We are focusing on our core competencies. We will in the future look forward to strategic partnerships that are set for land and construction. Noida is near a metro. It's condominium style, 550 apartments, 330 in the first phase. Quite reasonable and quite affordable without diluting the services. And we're leveraging channel partners and exploiting digital. We also have an app given the current COVID situation where you can look at the apartment, the project, the sector, the infrastructure, the club facilities, the show apartment, calculate your EMI and almost make a sale, on the app itself. So this is Noida. It's in a very pristine sector 150 of Noida, which is, a sports sector. 86% is open area, 14% is being constructed. There's a golf course. Part of it runs through our development as well. These are fully finished apartments, wall finishes, floor finishes, all white goods, fully fitted kitchen, wardrobes, etc. You just need your soft furnishing and your furniture to move in. The services, however, remain the same, and that's the soul of Antara, which is the engagement services, primary healthcare services, club services, cuisine. All those remain the same. We actually launched our show apartment on June 19th, and within a short period, 1/3 of the inventory has already been sold. So of the first phase, as we speak, as of yesterday, 107 apartments have been sold, which is really, a great vindication of the fact that the brand is trusted and this concept is resonating with all the customers. So if we are able to execute this strategy, hopefully in the next 5 to 6 years, this is how we will look like across 3 clusters of NCR, of Mumbai/Pune and Bangalore/Hyderabad. 4 or 5 residences for seniors, 35 to 40 care homes, memory care homes, and a care home service all bundled in, as an integrated ecosystem. So this is what, Antara will look like. So I'll stop here and Jatin, over to you. In case there are questions, happy to take them. Jatin, you're on mute.
Apologies. The first question is, what is the equity capital of Max India? So I want to just clarify, we have about 5.4 crore outstanding shares. The second question, sir, is for you, which is, what's the market size for Antara opportunity?
So as I said, it's a $10 to $12 billion pool across the verticals that we are addressing of assisted living, residences for seniors, care at home. We're not playing all the pools, only the 4 big value pools. And we're targeting about 4 million customers, and of that a 1 to 2% penetration in 3 clusters basis 15 lakhs household income and above. That's the market size that we are after. And in one sense, we are looking to put up maybe 1,000, 1,200, 1,400 beds in the future. And that's how our business planning has been done.
Okay. The next question is, what is the recruitment strategy for Antara, given we are treating seniors and we need specialized people to take care of them?
Yeah, very important question. And given the background that I have from healthcare, and some of my colleagues who are with me built up the care at home business in Max, they are with us now. We are quite conscious of this. So there are several, channels that we have for recruitment, specifically the bureaus, the campuses. We have, a great training capability, well, documented and well researched, training programs, both on technical and soft skill side. And we're leveraging our captive organization, Max Skills First, to be able to provide, that skilling. By the way, Max Skills First also runs a diploma course on allied healthcare. So we have all the content that is required to be able to train nurses and helpers. So quite a robust training program. And we are preferring to hire people on our roles because that's what makes them more sticky. And we have experience in, for example, which part of the country should we hire from, which people are more stable. So all the learnings are with us, and that's what we're implementing, while recruiting for Antara.
Okay. The next question is, what is the, we are joined by our Group Vice Chairman and Managing Director of Max India, Mr. Mohit Talwar. Welcome, sir.
Thank you. Good morning to everybody else, and congratulations to all of you for our listing today. So happy to take questions.
So the next question is, does Max India have any holding in Max Healthcare? So you want to take that?
Does Max India have any holding?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, the shareholders of Max India definitely have holdings in Max Healthcare.
Yeah, but Max India does not have any holding in Max Healthcare.
Yeah, Max India doesn't have it, but the shareholders of Max India do have holdings in Max Healthcare.
The next question is what is the strategy to reduce pledge on Max India's shares?
What is the strategy to reduce the
Pledge
pledge
on Max India's shares?
Whose pledge?
The sponsor's pledge on Max India's shares.
Well, I mean, that's a question which, is best left to, the sponsors to kind of answer it. But from whatever little one knows, there is a plan in place, and that's also in the public domain. One of the things which has got kickstarted is the fact that his holdings in Max Healthcare, those are going to be sold over a period of time, and the proceeds of those sales is going to be going toward reduction of debt. The other part of it, there is a small slug also in Max Financial Services, where Aniljeet's about 5% or 7% or so. That also will go towards reduction of debt. So a combination of both of this, plus what he has already done by sale of real estate and a nominal holding of about 2%, which was sold about a week or 10 days ago, should basically bring down the debt levels to very, very manageable levels. And all of this is going to happen in the course of, I'll say, the next few months. So we're looking at it in the major term. But specifics on this, I'm afraid I won't be able to answer that, because that's only something which the family office is dealing with.
Okay. Next question is that what is the investment in Antara net of impairment about 220 crore? So this I will take. No. So the 370 crore which you saw on the chart as investment is after that impairment. So the gross investment in Antara is about 520 crore. Okay. The next question is what is the land size for care homes and care at homes? And this question was posted then, but it could also apply to the residencies. Maybe Mr. Mehta, you may want to clarify all three.
Yeah. So the care homes, as I said, are rented facilities. They're typical, 30 rooms, 37 beds, and therefore the land size is not relevant in this case. These are all rented. We are not building them. We're not buying them. These are, as of now, available across. And the COVID situation has, also released some inventory from other, people who were utilizing such, places. So that's available. On the residences for seniors, depends on project size. So Noida, for example, which is 550 apartments, the 330 in the first phase, about 8 acres. And if you go for smaller developments, or 250, 300, units, it would be about 4.5, 5 acres.
Okay. The next question is that we had committed capital reduction from Max Cooper Capital. What is the timeline for that?
So let me take that. We had demonstrated our intent to go in for a capital reduction because that was one way by which we could reward our minority shareholders, and that was something. The intent was made known almost about a year ago when the sale happened, and we were waiting for the composite scheme to be put into place before we actually actioned it. Unfortunately, COVID has obviously, disrupted a lot of our plans, and therefore, at this point in time, we are deliberating in terms of how we can undertake this particular initiative. There is all intentions to go ahead with it. There is a board meeting which is planned for the middle of next month, at which time this proposal will be taken to the board for getting their consent. As things stand, we are well disposed towards doing a capital reduction. We have to obviously look at our growth plans for Antara primarily. We have to look at the size of the corpus and then assess in terms of what is the quantum of solvency which will be available to do the capital reduction. So all of this is something right now which we are working on, and I think we'll have more clarity as the days go by, and we'll make a formal announcement after our board meeting, which is towards the middle of September.
Okay. The next question is, how many rooms do we have at care homes?
So as I said, typically each care home has got about 30 rooms and 37 beds. I think beds are more relevant because that's what drives revenue. So that's the average size. For a memory care home, about 50 beds. For a care home, about 37 beds.
Okay. The next question is that what is the break-even occupancy for care homes?
Well, it's difficult to comment. I think it's futuristic. It's a combination of both long stay and short stay. Short stays for people for less than 3 months who want more rehab, people who want a permanent home in a safe and secure environment. So it really depends and varies, but could be between 70 to 80% as we go forward. But these are just at this point of time hypothesis.
Okay. The next question is, what will be the peak revenue of care homes?
So as I said, very difficult for us to give any future projections. I can just give you broad surrogates. So the rent for the care home, one bed or one room, depending on the choice that you have, and depending on location, could vary between 150,000 to 200,000. Again, depending on location, Bangalore could be cheaper, Mumbai could be more expensive. So that's the range that we have, and I could put up beds. So you can deduce what it would look like, but that's the kind of range that we have in mind.
Okay. The next question is, how will the economics of care homes shape up?
As I said, will look quite robust. We just opened up our first one a month back. However, the way we are outlooking the business plan, and as I pointed out earlier, since we are creating an integrated ecosystem and therefore leveraging infrastructure, manpower, and customer acquisition costs, the economics will look quite healthy as we go forward.
Okay. And similarly, what are economics for care at home?
Same answer. It's a bolt-on, as I said. However, having learned our lessons from how we built it in our previous avatar at Max Healthcare, we are focusing on high margin service lines. So we are certainly not going to become a predominantly providing a nurse or a helper at home kind of business. So specialized care, critical care, physiotherapy, diagnostics, opthal, procedures. So that's the kind of services that we'll focus on. And therefore, when you put these two together, I think they'll have similar revenues in the 5-year build out.
Okay. Then there are certain questions around Max Skill First. I think let us come back to you with the on the future of Max Skill First once we have crafted out the strategy, and then we'll be happy to take questions there. For now, our request will be to focus on Antara and its prospects. Okay, so the next one is that, what led to the impairment of about 150 crore? So if I may, see what happened is that when we started a Dehradun project about 6 years ago, there was a plan to set up many more projects. But I think the very next year we were hit with the slowdown in real estate, followed by then demonetization, GST, and bunch of other things which happened, because of which real estate industry went through a slowdown. So we decided to practically not set up any more communities for a while, and actually started focusing on how we can grow this business in an investment light fashion, and started conceiving some other growth ideas for Antara, which is the care homes and care at home. So the investment which or the corporate costs, so to say, or let's say a cost because of the prolonged sales cycle, are actually sitting in a Dehradun project, whereas the benefit of those investments are actually sitting elsewhere. So for example, if we were to just draw a parallel between, let's say, our Dehradun project and Noida project, which is now coming up, it's taken us about 6 years to sell about 120 units in Dehradun, whereas 6 months before launch of Noida, as in the construction start of Noida, we've already crossed 100 units in terms of sales. So, obviously it's a very different and encouraging performance, but what has changed over the last, between Dehradun and Noida is really the learnings from Dehradun, which is that, for example, Dehradun was priced at about 3.5 crore per unit. Noida is priced at about 1.25 to 1.5 crore a unit. Dehradun pricing was about 12,500 to 13,000 rupees a square foot in Dehradun without a golf course. Noida is priced at some 7,400 rupees a square foot with a golf course. Dehradun was a lease model, which creates two issues, versus Noida, which is a sale model, wherein A, you can do customer finance, as well as B, there is a capital gains offset which you get. So that's the other difference. Then, Dehradun monthly charges for a couple was about 50,000 rupees a couple, whereas Noida monthly charges are about 10,000 rupees a couple. So this whole learning from Dehradun, reinventing the whole model, and setting up this model in a different form and shape, wherein it can be A, done in an investment light fashion, and B, done at a far more palatable cost versus or let's say creating a palatable product versus an aspirational product. I think those are the learnings which have come from Dehradun, which has been deployed in Noida, and which is why we are seeing a stupendous success in Noida. And that's where these costs have gone. So that's why, in the beginning of my presentation, I said that, while it's an impairment from an accounting standpoint, but the benefit of this impairment are actually the IPR which we have developed, which will get realized in the future projects on the residences side, as well as on the care homes and care at home vertical. Sorry, the next question is, what is the net debt at the books of Max India? The net debt, there is no debt in Max India. There is only one debt, which is in Dehradun project, which will be taken care of through the cash flows of the residual inventory we have in Dehradun. As that gets liquidated, we will be able to comfortably pay down that debt in the Dehradun project. But other than that, there is no debt in Max India. For Noida project, we may need to borrow about 70 crore. But as we speak, we already have collectibles of about 150 crores from our inventory. And actually, like I said, we are seeing good success in Noida. The original plan was to borrow about 125 crore in Noida, which is now down to 70 crore because of the significant success we've seen in the sales trajectory. The next question is, what is the top line per care home? What is expected revenue per bed per day? So Rajit, you want to take that question, please?
I already answered that. I said that the rent ranges between 150,000 to 200,000 per month, per room. uh, and depends on location, depends on occupancy. Also, the revenue depends on cross sell of services. For example, if somebody needs exclusive 24/7 nursing, it's a cross sell. If you need an upgrade in facilities, that's a cross sell. Diagnostics, physiotherapy, and could be cuisine. So there are several streams of revenue in the care home. But that's a broad number I can share at this point of time.
The next one is a compliment saying, I visited Antara Dehradun. It's a beautiful community.
Thank
Kudos
you.
for it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for that. So next question is, which is the bigger focus opportunity between care home and care at home? What is your view on competition on each of the segments?
As I said, our going forward strategy is to create an integrated ecosystem. Therefore, Antara Assisted Care Services, which comprises care homes, care at home, products and services, memory care homes, are the growth driver of the future. While we will do, 3 to 4 residences for seniors besides Dehradun and Noida as well. That's where the growth will, come from in terms of assisted care services. And both, care at home and care home have their own signature in terms of, profits, margins, and revenue. I would say fair to say both will grow together and perhaps could be an equal contribution 5 to 6 years from now. On the care, at home, it's a trend that has already played out. You have many players, in north, south, which are pretty big, right now. So there is competition. On the care home side, however, it's very fragmented. People have set up 1 or 2 units. However, whichever units have been set up, particularly in NCR, are running with waiting lists. So there is not that much of a competition in the care home side, some at care at home. However, nobody is putting together the entire integrated ecosystem the way we are. And that's what will perhaps stand us apart.
And I think, if I may add, what will also stand us apart is the fact that we have been in this business. There's also experience from the point of view of, a healthcare business, which we've been running for the last, 20 years. And there is a symbiotic relationship between what Antara is trying to do as well as what we had in the hospital space. And coupled with all of this, I think the brand in itself signifies reliability, service standards, efficiency, all of that. So this kind of differentiates us quite a bit from the very many players in a very fragmented industry.
Okay, the next, I think, is a follow-up question on the capital reduction. Wherein, is there any uncertainty, or can you do a smaller size given the current developments? So I think you have answered that question to say that the board has to consider it. I think the disclosure will go to stock exchanges shortly, and there'll be a board meeting once that is. It'll be planned 11 working days from now. And in that meeting, it will be considered, and we will do the size appropriately by balancing out the requirement for Antara as well as, rewarding the shareholders and, depending on the cash flow projections of Max India. The next is, why do you sell property in these communities? Sorry, why don't you sell? Why do you lease? I think I addressed that question saying that that was a model we started with in Dehradun, but going forward, the model is a sale model. See, there is actually a history behind this lease model, and the history was that we wanted to promise people that the level of service which you are being promised will be delivered, and we wanted to make sure that these communities remain senior centric in the sense that if you transfer the title today freely, there is nothing which in India under law which restricts, let's say, a 60-year senior to transfer it to a 25-year young person. So therefore, we started with the lease model. We have now tweaked that model to a sale model, but what we have tried to do is to not sell the common areas. For example, we don't sell the club, as an example. So the club ownership is not being transferred, so that if, let's say, the activities in the club will all be senior centric, and therefore, if a senior was to sell it to a young person, then that young person will not have access to the club, and therefore that person will not buy. So we have, we've learned from Dehradun, like I said, and we've remodel how we think about a residences model in the future, and which is why we are seeing the success we are seeing in Noida, though early days. Uh, okay, the next one is, when do you expect Antara to cash break even? I think I'm assuming that this question is more for care homes because it says if you don't make any capex. So Rajit, you may want to address this question, please.
So I think, as I said, the unit economics, is one aspect that we're very fussed about, and obviously there is a break even at a entity level as well. Difficult for me to comment. Is very dependent on occupancy, on location, etc. But we are focused at each unit should, within a reasonable period of time, break even and give us, quite reasonable margins, much above our cost of capital. And therefore, we have thought of this bolt-on model of putting the things together. If you were to build the businesses separately, let's say of care at home, then the profit signature could look very different. But the fact that we're synergizing will make the break-even come perhaps in a few years.
Okay. The next one is that since you have experience of health insurance business, uh, what do you think that there's potential, insurance coverage for senior citizens? How can that be sort of worked through? Uh, so Rajat, maybe you may want to answer
That
that
is
question.
something we are currently in dialogue with through the various associations of CII and the Association of Senior Living and Nat Health. That to start with, can insurance cover be provided for at least care at home and rehabilitation? Reverse mortgage, unfortunately, didn't take off in India, but we are in dialogue with the government on the insurance side, and hopefully in a few months we'll see some positive movement on that side.
Okay. Then uh, another question on capital reduction, but we've answered. So for care homes, would there be three revenue stream: bed revenue, service fee, and consumable markup?
Yeah, I already answered that. There's a revenue through the rent that we get, which is for boarding, lodging, and the basic services provided. There is revenue through special services that you may need of nursing or diagnostics or physiotherapy or pharmacy. There could be medical aids and equipment that you may need on rent or for purchase. And then it could be a small, revenue stream through cuisine services. So multiple revenue streams, in care homes.
The next one is that 2 lakhs per bed seems high. Before you respond to that question, there's a follow up there also to say that why would people not stay at the hospital instead? So I must tell you that the ARPOB of a hospital is about 50,000 rupees a day, and this is 2 lakh rupees a month. So obviously it's not comparable. But I'll let Mr. Mehta respond to why 2 lakhs per bed is reasonable and.
Yeah. So as I said, this will vary depending on location and kind of room that you choose. But to give you some, comparators, an ICU bed costs between 30,000 to a lakh a day. Jatin already referred to the average revenue per bed per day in a hospital. If you are at your own home and you need a 24/7 nursing, it will perhaps cost you about a lakh and 25 only for nursing per month. Now, if you add your kitchen expenses, your expenses for rent, or if it's your own house expenses for utilities, you'll have perhaps end up spending more staying in your house and availing of the same service, or in a hospital, much more. So from all perspectives, since we have a shared facility, you get shared nursing, and there are common areas, it's our care home or memory care home will always be cheaper than either staying in the hospital or in your own home and availing the same service.
Okay. I think I'll just want to supplement what you just said. I think it's also very well, our pricing is very well compared with the other care home providers in the vicinity. And those care home providers, A, are running full occupancy, and B, have waiting queues. So it is not that, this pricing is something which we have sort of invented. I think on this one, the existing competition is also at similar prices and having waiting queues.
But I will just add, we are certainly not amongst the top three in terms of pricing in the first care home that we opened up. We are not in the top three.
Okay, the next one is a compliment to say your strategy is well laid out and implementation is the key.
Thank you.
Thank you. We take that feedback. The next one is that for residencies, what are your unit or project economics?
So for residences, Ajay can add, I think it's not about unit. So there are Obviously, collection that we do through sales, there is a fee income Antara earns through the project for helping in design, sales, and marketing. And then there's an annuity income that we get once the community is fully operational, and the revenue share we get out of the surplus profit. So, Ajay, you want to add?
So, sir, I think you have covered all the four.
Yeah.
Any capital raise plan? Not in the near term, but I think for a residencies model more particularly, whilst we may not need raise capital, but the idea is that we will have a capital provider as a partner, wherein we will be investing about 15% of the capital, and 85% of the capital will come from our investor partner. But at Max India level, at least for next 2 to 3 years, we don't foresee any capital raising plans. Which are the examples of other care homes which are charging about 2 lakh rupees a month?
There are several, in North India and some in the South which are cheaper. There is Epoch, there's Golden Estates, there's Atashri in Pune, there's Kowai Care in Coimbatore. So lots of examples in that price range, specifically now.
Okay, the next question is that in Dehradun lease model, how does the repurchase or buyback works?
So in Dehradun, as I said, we had taken the lease model as a background to it, specifically to control the quality of the community and the people that we were about to serve. But if you want to sell the apartment, Antara will help you sell it, take a small fee, and the rest of the money can then go back to you or your kith and kin as your desire. So it's quite seamless and quite simple. It's not that difficult actually.
Okay. Any further questions? I'll request you to post on the chat window, please. Okay, so if there are no further questions, thank you. Oh, no, sorry, there's one more. So they're saying at 2 lakhs plus, let's say 1 lakh for other services, and revenue is just 90 lakhs per home. Sorry, the question is not very clear. The top line is 10 crore per year. So I think you are right, but it is per care home center. But obviously, I think 10 crore per year will assume full occupancies. However, I think the idea is not to have just one care home. The idea is that we'll be setting up about 35-40 care homes over the next 5 years or so. So therefore, broadly, you have to really multiply that number and obviously adjust for occupancies to look at the size of this opportunity over the next 5 years. And also there is care at home vertical, which is bolt on onto this, which will also have similar revenue trajectory. So really since unfortunately we are not at the liberty to give a forward-looking statement, but that's how you have to really size the revenue opportunity, for this vertical. And then there is residencies vertical, wherein we may be setting up about one community a year, which will give you a good sense of how this revenue opportunity could be for care homes and care at home vertical.
Plus, as well as medical equipment and aid services as well, Jatin. The medical equipment and parts and services, which also could be a slight.
Okay, and okay.
Slice of revenue.
Yeah. So the next is, I think someone has put the number of saying it looks like it may be 400 crore top line, again, not much. I think it's a startup. So, we are currently setting up our first care home without confirming or denying whether 400 is the right number. But point is that, it all depends on how the success is, full this model is. We could not have 35, but 100 centers. It's just a matter of, I think, tasting early success and therefore scaling this business up. And frankly, I think from a value creation standpoint, these businesses are, I think Rajat also said that, surrogates and the past historical transactions have happened between 5 to 10 times revenue. So to that extent, I think it can still build significant value for our shareholders, even if revenue is in the ballpark of what you've sort of estimated, is how we will sort of put this across. Any preliminary plan to foray into residential real estate? Group company Maxwell is focused on commercial real estate. Mohit, you want to take that?
I didn't understand that question.
So the question
Any
is that
plans to get into residential, space like MWIL has commercial?
No, I don't think there are any plans to get into residential. We are sticking to our core competency here, which is going to be in the senior space. So all our expansion plans are going to be in terms of what we do with the seniors, and that will be all the stuff that we just spoke about. And the idea is to kind of grow that and scale up over a period of time. And as somebody had asked the right question, I think the challenge lies in execution. And so without, giving any broad numbers, we have to basically see how these homes, how they grow, how the execution plans shape up. And if we find success, then yes, I mean, the group is known for scaling up, and we have no hesitation in saying that, we will definitely scale it.
the next question is, how many care homes can we set up in the next 6 to 12 months?
Yeah. So again, depends on what sort of success we see as far as the projects which have already been launched. Early signs seem to be very encouraging, and since these are mainly asset light kind of products, if we find success, we will definitely scale up. Hard to give a number at this point in time.
Okay. The other comment is to say, I mean, we'll encourage you to sort of move quickly so that the implementation is fast tracked. We take that feedback on board. As Mohit said, that the initial signs are encouraging. As we continue to see that ramp up happening as per our expectation, we can always readjust our scale up plans. And capital is not a constraint, because obviously we have other assets within Max India which can be monetized to free up capital if required.
I would like to kind of disagree with this statement for the simple reason that we are not operating under normal situations at this point in time. And whilst I buy this theory of startups have to move fast and all of that, but look around you, look at what's happening to the ecosystem. It is not an easy story out there in terms of whatever people are planning to build out. So I for one would tread cautiously, make sure that whatever we are implementing, we meet success here rather than just grow for the sake of growing.
And this is also a very fast scalable model. If you are successful, one can very quickly replicate this model and create fast track growth. So I think getting success is very important in the initial phase. Okay. Any further questions? Please post on the chat window. Okay, as there are no further questions, we'd like to sort of thank you for being in the Max India's listing call. We hope to have many more interactions in the future. Please feel free to reach out to us if you have any further follow-up questions, or you would like to sort of discuss more. Thank you for taking out time early in the morning.
Thank you.
And good luck with the listing.
Thank you.
To our existing investors. Thank you.
Thank you.